In this video, again we will understand the theoretical concepts of capital gain. In the past video, we have understood what is block method. So this point says about the cost of acquisition, how to calculate the cost of acquisition in case of depreciable asset as per block method. So in the previous video, we have understood what is block method, right? Now let us try to understand how to calculate the capital gain for any depreciable asset. Now there are two possibilities. Case 1, all assets in the block are sold, that is under section 50 subsection 2. And second possibility, all assets in the block are not sold, under section 50 subsection 1. Let us try to understand if all the assets in the block are sold. So if you sell all the assets in the block, then you will have short-term capital gain if sale revenue is greater than combined WTV. So what do you mean by combined WTV? Combined WTV is nothing but your opening WTV plus new purchase. So let's say if your opening WTV is 1 lakh and new purchase is 2 lakh in a particular block. So your combined WTV will be 3 lakhs. And if the selling price or the selling revenue for the whole block is 5 lakhs. Now 5 lakhs is more than 3 lakhs. So in that case, you will have short-term capital gain. Now in the same situation, if suppose the selling revenue is, let's say, 2.5 lakhs, your combined WDV is 3 lakhs. So now here selling revenue is less than combined WTV. In such a situation, you will have short-term capital loss of 50,000. In the previous example, in the previous situation, we had short-term capital gain of 2 lakhs rupees. That is 5 lakhs minus 3 lakhs. Right? So if you sell all the assets in a block, you will have short-term capital gain if sale revenue is greater than combined WTV. And you will have short-term capital loss if sale revenue is less than combined WTV. Now let us move to the case 2, if all the assets in a block are not sold. In this case, you will have short-term capital gain if sale revenue of part of the block. Now here, why we are saying part of the block? Because all the assets in a block are not sold. So if sale revenue of part of the block is greater than combined WTV of full block, then you will have short-term capital gain. Short-term capital loss does not arise in this case because still the block is existing. You have not sold all the assets in a block. Right? So whatever assets are remaining in this block, you will have to calculate depreciation on it. Hence, we cannot have short-term capital loss. Let us move to the next concept, fair market value as on 1/4/1981 under section 55(2)(b). Now this section is little important, 55(2)(b). When a asset has been acquired before 1/4/1981, except a depreciable or an intangible asset, then the cost to the owner will be higher of A. Actual cost of acquisition, or B. Fair market value as on 1/4/81. So if you buy any asset before 1/4/81, now why we are saying 1/4/81? Because if you see cost inflation index, our cost inflation index starts from 1981-82. So if you buy any of the asset before 1981-82, right? Then in such a situation you don't have CII, cost inflation index. Then government says that you can compare your actual cost of acquisition which you have bought before 1981 with the fair market value as on 1481 and take your cost or consider your cost on whichever is higher. So let's say if your actual cost of acquisition is 1 lakh and fair market value as on 1481 is 1,50,000, then you will have to take the higher, that is 1,50,000. So it's a benefit given by the government to us. You need not be calculating index cost of acquisition based on the actual cost of acquisition. You can compare this actual cost of acquisition with the fair market value, and whichever is higher, you can consider that, and then you go for index cost of acquisition, right? Next, what they're saying, even if the asset is acquired by any method as specified under section 49(1), then also 55(2)(b) is applicable. Right now, what is 49(1)? 49(1) is a concept wherein if you sell any of the asset as a gift to somebody, let's say Mr. X, and if Mr. X is selling that particular asset to Mr. Y, so Mr. X will have selling price, but Mr. X will not have cost price. Why? Because we have sold, we have not instead sold, we have transferred this asset by way of gift. So in such a situation, the cost of asset for Mr. X will be 0. Hence, this section 49(1) comes in the picture, and this section says that whatever is the cost of previous owner, that will become the cost of Mr. X. So it won't be 0 in that case. So now here they are saying even if the asset is acquired by any method as specified under section 49(1), so even though if you get any of the asset by way of gift or will, still section 55(2)(b) is applicable. Still you can compare, you can take the higher, right? So these two sections are really very important. You will have to remember. One is this section 55(2)(b) and second is this section 49(1). Next, index cost of acquisition. So what is index cost of acquisition? Now in the case of index cost of acquisition, original cost is adjusted as per the index. So whatever is the cost inflation index, your original cost will be adjusted as per that particular index. Only for long-term capital gain. Indexation is not available for short-term, because in case of short-term asset, there won't be much difference in the inflation or the cost of your property. Hence, indexation is available only for long-term capital asset or long-term capital gain. By this indexation, cost will increase and SSC will pay less tax on capital gain. So it's a benefit given by the government to us. Now, because of this indexation, what happens? Our cost increases and profit comes down, and we end up paying less taxes. Now, there is a formula for calculating index cost of acquisition. This formula is very simple. Let's say you bought any asset in the year 1991-92 and you're selling the same asset in the year 16-17, and we wanted to know what is the index cost of acquisition. So what we will do, we will say actual cost of acquisition. The cost, our actual cost of acquisition is 1 lakh, right? 1 lakh is the actual cost of acquisition. When we bought this property, we have bought this property in the year 1991-92. So what was the cost inflation index in the year 1991-92? So we'll have to go back to the cost inflation index. 1991-92, yes, this one. 1991-92, our cost inflation index is 199. So we will say our cost inflation index when we bought this property is 199. And when you're selling this property, we are selling in 2016-17. So let us go back and check the cost inflation index of 2016-17. So the cost inflation index of 2016-17 is 1125. So we will write 1125 below 199, right? So now what we are supposed to do, we will have to find out the index cost of acquisition. How? By cross multiplication. So you will have to cross multiply. 1 lakh into 1125 divided by 199 will give you index cost of acquisition. The year in which we bought this property, cost inflation index of that year was 199, and the price or the cost of that property was 1 lakh. So according to that, now cost inflation index is 1125. So in such a situation, what will be our index cost of acquisition? So this is how the formula is created. It's nothing but, what is this 1 lakh? 1 lakh is actual cost of acquisition, this one, into index of year of transfer. What is this 1125? 1125 is index of year of transfer. So what we are doing? Actual cost of acquisition into index of year of transfer. So this is nothing but the cross multiplication. So 1 lakh into 1125 upon index of year of acquisition. So index of year of acquisition is 199. So if you cross multiply, you will get this formula. Actual cost of acquisition into index of year of transfer upon index of year of acquisition. So this is how the formula is created. Formula is very simple. It is nothing but the cross multiplication. Let us move on to the next concept. G. Indexation is not available for the following asset. So indexation is not available for short-term capital asset, depreciable asset, and for shares and debentures. Next, point number H, cost of improvement. What is cost of improvement? Cost of improvement basically relates to two types of asset. First, A, for goodwill and right, it is nil, because for goodwill and right there cannot be cost of improvement. B, for any other asset, it will be cost of addition or alteration. This note is very important. This note says ignore any cost of improvement incurred before 1481. So if you have incurred any of the cost of improvement before 81, you will have to ignore. You will not get income tax benefit of that. So that means we can consider only improvement after 81. Again, there is a formula for index cost of improvement. It's the same formula like index cost of acquisition. Instead of acquisition, we have taken I, improvement. So you can see index cost of improvement is equal to actual cost of improvement into index of year of transfer upon index of year of improvement. This formula is very much similar to index cost of acquisition. So instead of acquisition, we are taking improvement. Otherwise, the formula is same. Now there are different cases of indexation. This different cases of indexation are very important. So you will have to understand it because it is very important. There are 5 different situations, and for each and every situation, the formula for index cost of acquisition will change. So let us try to understand the formula of index cost of acquisition in different situations. The first situation is if you acquire an asset after 1481. If you buy an asset after 1481. Now why we are taking this 1481 again and again? Because our cost inflation index starts from 1981-82. So that is why we are taking this or considering this in each and every point. So if you buy an asset after 1481, your formula will be index cost of acquisition is equal to actual cost of acquisition into index of year of transfer upon index of year of acquisition. This is very much similar to the formula which we have learned in the previous slide. So you can see very much similar. It's exactly same. So it's very simple formula. If you buy an asset after 1481, your formula will be actual cost of acquisition into index cost of acquisition is equal to actual cost of acquisition into index of year of transfer upon index of year of acquisition. And what will be the formula for index cost of improvement? It will be actual cost of improvement into index of year of transfer upon index of year of improvement. Now, situation 2, case number 2. Asset acquired by SSC before 1481. So if you buy an asset before 1481, in that case what will happen? In that case, your formula for an index cost of acquisition will change. Now what is the change? Actual cost of acquisition or fair market value as on 1481, whichever is higher. Now this fair market value as on 1481 is the addition. It was not there in the previous formula or previous case. Now why we are taking this fair market value as on 1481 in this case or in this situation? Because you are buying this asset before 1481. So there is one section 55(2)(b). It says if you buy an asset before 1481, you will have to compare the actual cost of acquisition with the fair market value as on 1481 and take the higher. So that is what you will have to apply in the formula. Into index of year of transfer upon index of year of, we cannot say acquisition as we had in the previous case. Why? Because you are buying this asset before 81, and before 81 we don't have cost inflation index CII. Hence, you will have to take the base year, that is 1981-82. So if you compare this formula with the previous one, what change you got? This addition fair market value is on 1481 and this denominator index of year of 1981-82. So if you buy any of the asset before 81, your formula for index cost of acquisition will be actual cost of acquisition or fair market value as on 1481, whichever is higher, into index of year of transfer upon index of year of 81-82. And what will be the formula for index cost of improvement? Actual cost of improvement, that too after 1481. I hope you remember the note. It was clearly mentioned in this note. This one, any improvement before 81 is to be ignored. So that is what we are doing. So your formula for index cost of improvement will be actual cost of improvement only after 1481 into index of year of transfer upon index of year of improvement. Let us go to third situation, case number 3. Asset acquired by SSC under section 49(1) before 1481. Now what is this under section 49(1)? You are getting this asset as a gift. Right? So asset acquired by SSC, you are getting this asset as a gift, but when you are getting this, you are getting before 1481. So again, your formula for index cost of acquisition will change. Now let us try to find out the change. Now here we have actual cost of acquisition of previous owner. So of previous owner is the addition, which was not there in the previous formula. Right? Wherein if you see the previous formula, you will find fair market value as on 1481. So it will be actual cost of acquisition of previous owner. Now why we are taking off previous owner? Because your actual cost of acquisition is 0. Hence, you will have to consider the cost of the previous owner under section 49(1). That is why we are taking actual cost of acquisition of previous. So it will be actual cost of acquisition of previous owner or FMV on 1481, whichever is higher, into index of year of transfer upon index of year of 81-82. Now why we are taking 81-82? Because you are getting this asset as a gift before 81. So before 81 we don't have any CII, cost inflation index. Hence you will have to take the base year, which is 1981-82. What will be the formula for index cost of improvement? It will be actual cost of improvement, that too after 1481, into index of year of transfer upon index of year of improvement. It's the same formula as we had in the previous one, right? Now let us go to case number 4. Asset acquired by SSC under section 49(1). Again, you see, you're getting this asset as a gift, but this time when you're getting after 1481, and previous owner has bought this property before 1481. So now you can see your situation is different from the previous situation. In the previous situation, you got this asset as a gift before 1481. Now you're getting this asset as a gift after 1481, and previous owner has bought this property before 81. So again, the formula for index cost of acquisition will change. Now let us try to find out the change. Actual cost of acquisition of previous owner or fair market value is on 1481. This is very much similar with the previous one. So here also you will find actual cost of acquisition of the previous owner. Why we are taking previous owner? Because you are getting under section 49(1). So it will be actual cost of acquisition of previous owner or fair market value is on 1481, whichever is higher, into index of year of transfer upon index of year in which SSC got the asset. This is the change which we got in this situation or in this formula. If you see the previous one, there we have index of year of 8182, but here we have index of year in which SSC got the asset. Now why we are not taking 8182, why we are taking index of year in which SSC got the asset? The reason is you are getting this asset as a gift after 1481, and we have CII, that's cost inflation index, after 1481. So what is important for us? We wanted to know your profit, your index cost of acquisition, your cost inflation index. Hence in this case, you got this asset after 81. So after 81 we have CII. Whenever in whichever year you must have got this asset, we can write CII of that particular year here as denominator. Hence we are writing this as index of year in which SSC got the asset instead of taking 1981-82, right? So this is a change which we got here. What about index cost of improvement? Index cost of improvement is equal to actual cost of improvement after 1481 into index of year of transfer upon index of year of improvement. So it is very much similar. In fact, it is same as the previous one, right? So let us go to the next one, case number 5. Asset acquired by SSC under section 49(1) after 1481, previous owner also after 1481. Now you're getting this asset as a gift after 1481, and previous owner also has bought this property after 81. So there is no one before 81. You're getting this asset after 81. Previous owner also has bought this property after 81 only. So again, your formula for index cost of acquisition will change. Now in this case, your formula will be actual cost of acquisition of previous owner. Now we don't have fair market value here. Why? Because you are getting this asset after 81, as well as previous owner also bought this asset after 81. So no one is before 81. Hence, you will not have to compare the actual cost of acquisition with the fair market value, right? So formula got changed. It will be actual cost of acquisition of previous owner into index of year of transfer upon index of year in which SSC got the asset. For us, your CII is important. We are not looking for CII of previous owner. We are not calculating the capital gain of previous year. So the year in which you got this asset, that year is important for us for the calculating or for the calculation of index cost of acquisition, right? So we are going to take index of year in which SSC got the asset. That means you got the asset. And what about index cost of improvement? Index cost of improvement is equal to actual cost of improvement into index of year of transfer upon index of year of improvement. Now if you see here, we are not putting the bracket after 1481. Why? Because you got this asset after 81. And in fact, previous owner is also bought this asset after 81, right? Now you get some income tax benefit, that is exemption under section 54. What is that? If you invest your capital gain, whatever capital gain you have, into for buying a new house, then you get exemption under section 54. For an example, you got a house, the cost of house is 30 lakhs and you are selling this house for 35 lakhs. So selling price minus cost price, that is 35 lakhs minus 30 lakhs, profit will be 5 lakhs. Profit is nothing but we are talking about gain. It's a capital gain. So your capital gain is 5 lakhs. Now if you invest this 5 lakh in the new house, then you get exemption. That means you don't have to pay capital gain tax on this 5 lakhs. Why? Because you invested this 5 lakh into new house for the purchase of new house, right? So let us try to understand the condition for the exemption. First, applicable only for individual or and HUF. It is not applicable to all the SSC. Second, the new house must be used for residential purpose. Third, it must be long-term capital asset. The new house which you're going to buy, the holding period of this should be more than 36 months. That is what is the condition. Fourth, it must have purchased within a period of 1 year before or 2 years after the date of transfer. Let's say if you're going to transfer today, okay, so you must have or you should have purchased this house, the new house, maybe 1 year before today or 2 years after today. Today you're selling this house, no? Today you're transferring this house. So the condition says you can get this exemption if you would have purchased this house 1 year before or 2 years after the date of transfer. So in both the cases, even though before the sale, if you have bought a house before the sale of first house, if you have purchased the second house, still you can get the exemption. But you should fit into this condition. The second house which you have purchased is within a period of 1 year before. Right? The fifth point, it must have constructed within a period of 3 years after the date of transfer. So if you're going for a construction instead of buying a new house, then you will have to invest this capital gain, this 5 lakh rupees, into this construction of new house within a period of 3 years. There is one more exemption under section 54 EC. You will get exemption if you invest in bonds. Instead of investing in house, you can invest in bonds also. Still you will get exemption. What is the condition? First, applicable to all SSC. Second, investment in long-term bond, that is more than 3 years. The holding period of this bond should be more than 3 years. And you will have to invest this in the bond within 6 months from the date of transfer. Third, bond must be issued by the National Highway Authority of India, that is NHAI, or the Rural Electrification Corporation Limited, RECL. And